Good afternoon and welcome back to Padova here for the EYUC European Youth Ultimate Championships. It's been kicking off. It is the end of day 3, day 2 officially. And in this last time slot, we go back into the open division. We've got Germany versus Sweden. I'm Stefan Rapazzo, and I'm here with a guest in the booth just off the stream field before us. Commiserations for the results. Harry Mason, your GB women did just go down. A little bit of a tough game for your squad, but you're ready to bounce back in the booth for this one. But a quick thought about your last game before we get straight into this one.
I mean, I'm nothing but proud of my girls for how they've done so far and how they are here. And sometimes results do go against you, and we would rather that happen early. It's a big round robin. You can almost afford a couple of losses early.
And here's Harry.
My apologies. I am nothing but proud of these girls. They have been so fantastic. They've trained so hard, and sometimes you're going to take a loss or two in a tournament, but with the format, it's a big round robin, then there's crossovers, then there's quarter, then there's semis and finals. We've still got a lot of time to bounce back, and they've done so well so far. It is going to be a challenge on us, and it's going to be on us, the coaches, Olo, our lead coach. We're going to have to get them together, but we're going to shoulder that burden so the players don't have to, and watch out for Czech, who we're playing tomorrow.
Looking forward to that. Good on you for being able to jump out of one game and into another as a commentator. We've got Germany and Sweden. I know you keep your finger on the pulse as to what's happening, but yeah, give the people back at home a little tidbit of what these two teams have been up to thus far.
I mean, I spoke a bit about how we're going to deal with our last result. These are two teams that can have to deal with their results. They've got some wins, they've got some losses. They're really in the mixer, and with the upper power pools situation, that the top 4 in the pool go into an upper power pool, they're really going to want to make sure they are right at the top, carrying all the favorable situations they can with them. I think it's certainly big for Sweden. Germany in a slightly more comfortable position. Sweden, their only big win has been in sudden death. So we know this team can grind it out if they have to. The question is, can they do so here this afternoon?
That's the big question. Looking up and down these rosters, some familiar names. We've definitely got some familiar coaches as well. I see Michael Schutz right off the gate, and I was told in the chat yesterday watching the GB Germany women's game, one of the members in the chat said look out for more members of this Schutz family in the open division, and here we have it. The younger brother, 17-year-old Michael Schutz, set to shine here today. And across the board, there's Andres sons, there's 2 of them. Imagining we've got a set of brothers over there. And we're all just about ready to do battle now. They are lined up, disc in hand.
In fact, I think they're just waiting for the disc in hand.
That is right. That's the one thing we're missing is the disc to be in hand. Here comes the Euro disc sent down towards the Germans. They will pull, and as such, play defense first. And now we are indeed underway as Osman sends the pull that comes and lands down in the hands of the Swedish O-line.
We see Alvin Andreasson pass the disc forward.
And Sweden, Svensson, tries to find a little bit of space up line and nothing there for him, Harry.
No, playing a very tight game and trying to squeeze the disc into small spaces. We'll see if that continues.
Maj pressed up against the near sideline. Nice throw wide, just enough float. That one comes down in the hands of Gordon Flo, and he goes deep right away, but the defense says no.
I mean, sometimes the defense says no. I'd love the hops there on Mehrhofer of Germany, getting up big to make that disc safe. Disc to the end zone, though, a bit more contested.
So, Harry, you run the sofa sideline. There's that the UK's sofa sideline. That's something we'll talk about in between points here. But looking forward to hear how that is going. Abrahamson with the disc. Now sent back towards center. That's Gavin Abrahamson. This one shot deep, but the defense there and knocked away by Maj for the Germans.
Seemed like that was a very quick discussion there, but solved quickly as the break throw goes up.
Maj gets it just a bit too high. Second effort unavailable as the Swedes take it away. Nice high release forehand by Fredriksson. And a little bit of a fake out of Alvin Andreasson before he moves it on. Swedes stringing a few lateral passes. Svensson. And, ooh, it is picked up. It is indeed, well, I think so. And so do some of the players on the field. So it remains in possession of the Swedes and in the hands of Alvin Andreasson. Wind up was there, but no big shot delivered. Now to the outside. Andreasson now. The big shot is delivered. A couple on the chase, and it is the leading defender, Ole Maj, who denies with a beautiful, nearly hip-high layout to take it away, maybe more.
I mean, we've already said defense says no. This is twice now that Maj specifically has said no.
Don't throw it to Maj.
Ideally not. I mean, we can see here on the screen. Oh!
That is a thing of beauty. Deep shot goes. That's way too deep. And a bit of a preservation of greatness. I'm sure they don't mind. At least it's in the other end.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing you want to do is turn close to your own end zone. But you've got to say you want at least a bit more of an option than that. Otherwise, you want just a bit more roll. Often you got a bit of roll or you're going to get some float. You may get lucky. Something like that is going to fall out. Never really going to happen.
Deep shot goes. The chase is on. And the bid can't get there, probably because he's not wearing the right jersey.
We'll see if he learns his lesson.
Maj gets the gainer. Osman goes deep the other way. And that one knocked away. And this one back and forth. We are nearly 7 minutes in. It's 0-0. A defensive effort, a lot of defensive effort shining through in this game so far is one way of putting it.
You know, they say good defense wins games, and we'll see now if the offense can step up as well.
Yeah, they're still going to need 1 point to preserve. And another takeaway, and it's a bit of ping pong right now with the directional changes coming with frequency. Maya Hoffa goes wide and around. He does have that one, does Klimisch. And zipped forward again by Mikler. Put into goal, and they are on the board. Mikler, I believe it is, with the goal in the end. A epic first point. 7.5 minutes. We got 9 total turns. 5 on one side, 4 on the other. How about that one to start things off, Harry?
I mean, we saw some friendly plays for the highlights, but as a coach, I have to recognize the offense that worked was the one that scored simply. I quite like that as a mantra that I use occasionally. I think it's particularly useful indoors, but also holds outdoors, of just score with a simple throw. Everyone thinks the throw to the end zone has to be more complicated, and sometimes there is, and it works, but honestly, if you can score with a flat flick or a flat backhand to the end zone that's uncontested, why would you make it more complicated than that?
Yeah, hammers and scoobers and, blades. They're exciting throws. People get excited. Boring ultimate wins games. That has been something that's been preached by great captains for a very long time, and no matter how you phrase it, it comes down to that. Do the simple stuff, and you're going to get the results you're after. The more you try and fluff it up and make it look better rather than feel better and work better, well, the trickier things get.
You're right, though. It's 2-9 mode. Flat backhands, flat forehands, or flat scoobers.
Can a scoober stay flat with... There's got to be a bit of helix in an upside-down pass, Harry. Stop messing with us and the viewers.
I can throw one.
We're going to hold Harry Mason to that, a flat scoober coming up after the game.
That's one of the few times they're going to be insist on being called Dr. Mason. Dr. Mason's flat scuba. You'll see it.
And we are in play. The Swedes coming under. Andreasson gets one in for Abrahamsson. And big shot. Open receiver. Titus runs under it, and it's easy to throw to open receivers. And that was a flat forehand. It had a bit of distance there, but made to look very easy because of how open Titus was.
I think it says a lot. The hucks in the first point were either to someone who was marked, or once or twice not quite to anyone at all. That shot, though, the separation that was opened up by the Swedish cutter made it such that you had a lot of margin of error on that throw. You could go wrong in quite a few ways, and that thrower, that catch, it's still going to be taken down.
Good stuff there by the Swedes. Here's another look from our multiple angles, of course.
Not really even marked at the time. All the space to wind up, select the flick, and execute it without any pressure on the throw or the catch.
And so you don't insist too often to become to be called a doctor, Harry, but what is your doctorate?
I have a doctorate in medical imaging.
Medical imaging?
Yes.
Yes.
On trying to improve MRI scanners, but still a philosophy doctorate.
Cool. From Oxford University, I've been told.
Somehow, yes.
Wow, well done. Got myself a scholar in the booth here next to me. Here come Germany. Boehm. Big shot right away. That one out of the hands of Biskupik. And it is collected, and the Germans give themselves a nice easy goal. Lina cashes that one in.
Did the hard work with the legs. They didn't have to do it with the hands. Again, after that first point, people may be a bit tired. but I think we can see here the jab step gets inside, nice and open. And we didn't get to see the setup for the cut, but we can see the separation that was generated by it.
Yeah, the first point, a grinder, 9 turnovers, and then 2 clean holds, 5 passes, 2 passes to set them up. Hopefully that's an indication of the way these offenses are going to work throughout the rest of the game. I don't even know if that's hopeful. I love a long grinder point every now and again, too, as a spectator, as a commentator. I'm not here simply spectating. We are working right now. But, you know, you do love to see that variation. After a grinder of a point, you like to see the offense come on and just hit stride and click on a couple passes and efficiently score like they just have.
I don't want to undersell the work the defense did in the first point as well, though. There was some nice offense that was just surpassed by the defense. Can this German defense now step up too?
Here come the Swedes, hoping to deny those German defensive efforts. Titus looks up, gets himself into the hands of Andreasen. He puts it right away. A little bit of positional shifting there. Fredriksson gets out-jostled, and now it goes to the Germans.
I think he lost it a bit in the bright Italian sunlight. It's tough conditions, goes up long. Germany has position.
And that one knocked away. Hands up in a bit of an apologetic matter, but no foul called. I think a small bit of incidental contact as they both reached the same precipice at the same moment. Algren. He throws into trouble, and now the Germans have a very short field. Osman goes backwards. Madge. Madge goes low, and Osman misses it as he goes to ground, and a little bump there as they both go to ground.
We saw it earlier that they're trying to play in quite a short area. Sweden trying to overload that short area. They had a lot of defenders there, and you can sort of see there's 3 Swedish defenders for 2 German offenders, no real way through.
Nice lefty backhand to put that one off of the line, and Andreasen gets the up line to go. Now the under comes Hargeby. Oh, nice bounce into the hand. A self-macked disc. But on the bobble, that's allowed, not off of the pass. Now the throw into the 37 shirt, Abrahamsen. Ooh, he goes underneath and gets away with it. That one's in for goal. And Sweden answered the bell, and it's tied up 2-2 on, not on serve.
I did say sometimes you got to do the difficult work with the legs, you don't have to with the arms. I think that's one of the cases where the difficult work was done with the arms, as it were. Great wide pivot backhand just to float it up into space. See, there wasn't a huge amount of separation. The defender wasn't far away. Little bit of a collapse there, but he sort of sees his option, pivots low, takes the shot, and the defender wasn't moving. The offender wasn't moving beforehand, but Fredriksson able to take it down because the throw was just placed into so much open space by the thrower.
Yeah, that was an incredible low release throw, using every part of the body mechanics to get that pivot, the reach, and the release. Well spotted, Harry Mason. That one lands out of bounds, and that means the Germans will have the option to bring it to the brick mark, which they will, as indicated by the raised hand of, it looks like number 7 it is, Biskupik. And here comes the Germans out of a horizontal formation. Dumps into the backfield. Just kept in bounds there. Schutz of the famous Schutz family. Schutz goes wide, a bit too wide. And Sweden takes a snack on that one. It's Askroth who knocks it away.
They floated a few discs and Sweden just had to be under one of them.
Askrut, the D-getter. Dumps back to Dana. Dalna gets it upfield. Mori, no relation to Davide. Now the hammer comes on the spot. Nice high hammer. Dalner, the recipient. And Sweden breaks.
Sweden wanted to bring a game. They're on 1 loss and 2 wins currently. They need a result at this point in the week, and they are determined to get it from Germany. And we see here the options building up. They're kind of clogged. There's no one really getting into space. The handler is very well marked out there. That's something I really noticed. The handler mark's been very good, and so just throwing it to the break side upfield.
Yeah, tough division these two are in. Germany currently in the 2 spot and Sweden in the 4 spot. The French up top and only just eked out their win over Germany on a universe point game. And, you know, even the bottom 2 there, Austria and Israel, are not to be taken lightly, we'll say. Israel have been losing a little bit more substantially, but Austria with a -2 can be right there. They actually have a better point differential than Sweden right now. So Sweden do need this game quite badly to have a chance to push into the championship bracket.
Israel are currently one of the kind of loudest teams in the tournament.
I'm sorry.
And Germans receive the pull and quickly shot to center. It's Bohm who gives and gets. Bohm drops the bomb. It shoots on the chase and shoots, hauls it in. Nice piece of work by the Germans to open up that deep shot.
And shoots, he scores.
He
Love to see it.
Love to hear it just the same, Harry. That was, let's have another look here, but nice piece of work. Bohm with the bomb, shoots and scores. Here's the shot. You even get to see the light just shimmer off that disc as it gets to its highest point. That was a perler of a throw is really what that comes down to.
Yeah, I think Sweden on average have height over Germany from what I've seen. And so because of that, maybe they're a bit more confident about covering that deep threat than letting him have a step or 2, but he let him have 3 or 4. So it really was just a lot of space there for shoots to generate that separation for the throw to go into.
So 3 apiece. 1 break for the Germans, 1 break for the Swedes. We are back to being on serve here. Sweden kick things off, a chisel pass until they statically reach into this German zone that's being deployed. Fredriksson goes under to Svensson. Chisel forward, now big arcing, almost bladey pass. Abrahamson. Spins every direction, high stall count, scooped up and taken away. Germans now quickly to go the other way. Wind up, sent the distance or nearly there anyways. Great reception, one-handed, shoveled forward, and again for the goal. Germany ripping back the other way at a phenomenal pace.
Sometimes you wonder why Peterson doesn't get a stat there. He was the one that went up with that one-handed grab, took it down, took what we would call a hockey assist, which is the assist before the assist. He's not going to get it on the stat sheet, but 100%, his team should recognize his contribution at that point.
Yeah, we love having the stats here and being able to count them. We want to be able to count more and more and more, but there's so much more to the game than the statistics that end up on the sheet. There's so much more to it that, the little things that are done that don't necessarily get counted for, these workhorse players that do the little things. And while this is a bit of a big thing.
A little bit of a big thing. I will say for Germany's defense, I've loved their handler marks. If you can stop the reset, you'll do a lot. Their zone, I think, actually had quite a few holes in it. Sweden were able to work it through quite quickly, but when they transitioned to match defense, they didn't have a bailout option. And previously the bailout option was the hammer, which worked. This one, a floaty backhand, which didn't.
So advantage now to Germany. They take the break on that point, and with it, the advantage in dictating pace. They are ahead on serve, so to speak. They will receive the first offensive possession in the second half, so keep that in mind as this game continues through the first half. Sweden, Nordling goes backwards and gets Dalna. Couple windups, then the under and return throw right away. Andreasen. There's the underneath. Abrahamsen goes deep. Looks good, maybe not quite in on the doorstep there. Nordling looking for an answer and throws it into a flailing arm of a German defender. That's Meyerhofer, who luckily gets a hand to it to slap it away.
Sometimes defense says no.
And the German attack looked to go blind 2 or 3 times and settles for the centering pass to Meyerhofer. And now Boehm to Meyerhofer. Inside, Madge changes direction on the chase and finds his way to the disc. That looks good. I'm not gonna lie, there's 2 of them that could have had that one. And Germany on a run now.
As a British person, I always have to commend politeness, and the politeness to settle quickly which of those 2 German players was going to catch it so they didn't end up confusing it with each other was impeccable. Very efficiently done. Well done, Germany.
Yeah, I mean, the Germans known for their efficiency in all sorts of realms of life, and now showing it on the ultimate field as well, efficiently choosing who gets to collect the stat.
You can even see the hand out here, just a, actually, you take it. You take the stat. But the fact that 2 of them got enough separation for that throw to be worthwhile. Usually you don't want 2 people cutting there because you bring a defender with you. In that instance, they both got the separation they needed. Sweden need to tighten up a bit on these hucks. We've seen them come out a few times now. They may be a bit smaller than you, but respect them.
We've got a timeout on the field. We're going to take a short break ourselves, and we'll be back after these words. We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
Oh my God! Somehow they do it! Get there. Yes, he will. The lovely day.
And we are back after a pair of breaks and 3 in a row by the Germans. the Swedes will look to steady their ship moving forward.
We see the German zone again, trying to stop this short Sweden game. Again, Sweden looked like they would get through it, but they got through it by going a little travel, which is not the way you're allowed to get through a zone.
Allowed by way of the rules, of course.
Always the rules.
Those pesky rules Rubenberg puts his name to. No, they're not pesky at all. They're wonderful. We love them. Sweden. And that one thrown below the reach of Titus. And Germany shooting, not quite for goal. This one will be if it's caught. Yes, it is. The throw by the 42 shirt of Teichert. And Germany break again. And they are breaking the hearts of the Swedes early in this game.
See, I always wonder what is talked about in the timeouts. And so I wonder if Sweden talked about that Germany zone. They got through it quite well by just swinging it round. This time they didn't try and take that option, and it didn't work for them. No, I wonder if they got through it so easily the first time and got caught by the match. They then didn't think to talk about it in the actual break. But Germany really looking for the quick turn, wanting to say like, hey, if we get an option, we're going to do it before you're ready. We can see here Germany already got the message communicated there off the field. Sweden still giving a last few messages. Time limits are a pesky thing here. You know, you need to communicate the information quickly. If you're going to change up the offense or defense, you've got to have talked about it before the game.
Yeah, the implementation of something brand new, no matter how well a coach may know something and recognize it to a situation, if it's not been trained in, those are best advised to be left in the playbook for the next year round because, yeah, finding answers that way aren't going to work. Sticking to your systems and banging the pot a bit harder might be the better option. Here come the Swedes. Couple nice passes to kick things off on the possession. Andreasen will push off to get this deserved space. And now flopped into Algren. There's the under, Dahlner, and another one, McLean. Sweden have looked good to get it to the midfield mark. Now the important part, the attacking end. Andreasen goes straight back to Algren. Algren shoots and it's too low, and that goes to ground in front of Askrut. Madge throws and gets that one out to Klimash. And then another turnover, and Sweden will start with a half field this time.
Yeah, as while Germany were cutting instantly, trying to make this option, Sweden want to set their structure. They're taking their time here.
Throwing straight to the break side swing space and just making it a little bit tougher of an angle to start with from that far sideline. There's the around. That opens things up if it can be hung on to. And some frustration shown there by McLean. And it's going to be more frustrating because the next throw goes to score Jacob Fass. And the Germans score again. It's 7-3, Harry.
It's exactly what happened the previous time, which is someone cut long instantly just in case there was a long option. There wasn't the first time, but there was the second. And Sweden really need to recognize, I know you want to be annoyed at yourself if you do a turn, but you've got to be switched on. You've got a defense to play.
Yeah, that was one of the very first lessons taught to me as a earth pounder upon frustration, and maybe one of the toughest lessons to actually sink in before I actually did have the ability to kind of flip the frustration switch off. But for all you youngsters at home watching, it is definitely going to improve your overall performance. Mistake or success, move on to your next job.
I think my toughest lesson was how to throw a forehand properly. Genuinely took me around 4 years.
I thought you're still working on that.
I mean, it can always improve. It now only like wobbles a little bit.
Fair. Still, you can at least, you know, always work in an extra pivot and find a way to throw a backhand in most circumstances anyways.
It was a one hand, I moved to a two hand. I'm definitely at least free hand now, and I'm gonna get that forehand soon.
All right. It took me a while to see where you were going there. Until you said three hands, I didn't know what you were on about. The old one hand, two hand. They're all one hand, aren't they, Harry? Here is Sweden. Can they figure it out? 5 against them right now. It's 7-3. By that math, there was a 3-2 lead for the Swedes before this run against them happened.
Math is a tricky thing, but not quite as hard as Sweden to find this German zone right now. It does appear to be effective when they get to set it up right next to the end zone, causing Sweden all kinds of problems. They're trying to work their way through the middle of it. And they have not really gained any yards. In fact, they don't, as Germany sees the disc, look for the quick score, and take it.
And the German pressure is just pouring on right now. Lars Teichert with that goal, half-time taken, and it felt like that happened oh so quick. As we said, it was once 2-3 in favor of Sweden, and 6 on the bounce since then, and it just feels like this game was slipping and maybe has slipped away from the Swedes.
To the external observer, you may say it has slipped. If I hear the Swedish coach say it has slipped, then we need to have words. Because that's the last thing they can imagine that is happening now. Things can still come down to goal difference, if nothing else, and that alone makes it worth fighting for every point, let alone just the heart of you are representing your country. A lot of these people are here for the first time. A lot of people may be here again. But right here, right now, you are facing Germany, and you need to get every point you can on the board. And if you get enough of those individual points, you'll be turning it into a game.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There should be no quit. We all know what a huge run against feels like, but we all have been part of or seen a huge run from a deficit into a victorious situation as well. They can happen, as unlikely as they seem. They can come out of nowhere, and maybe if you're just fighting for 1 point at a time and that ends up being the result, well, hey, we'll take it, but just fight for these little points.
It does feel like Germany just have 2 questions that Sweden can't answer right now. And that question is their zone, which, again, I think when they've been able to set it up deep and they've been really able to stop Sweden, and the other is their quick turns. If Sweden can find an answer to those 2 things, they can pull it back in this second half, unless Germany pull out something else. But until they find an answer to that, I think it will be Germany's game.
Well, let's see if they've got coaches watching the stream, taking notes and sending that info into the ears of the Swedish coaches. Until then, we're going to take a short break here for halftime, and we'll be right back with second half action.
See you then.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ulti.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
We're back. Second half action coming up. We can take a quick look at the match stats from the first half. Harry, anything that jumps out to you that might be telling the tale?
I think Germany having 8 points and Sweden telling 3 is the main thing that tells the tale right there. But the fact that Germany have been so more efficient with their the turns, like the break chances they've had, if you have 13 break chances to 1, you're probably going to convert more. And so maybe the Sweden D-line is the thing that needs to step up here. They need to find a way to stop the German offense. And whether that's just switching on quickly or whether that's some big new defense, we'll have to see as the disc goes up.
Disc is in, second half action. There's still 61 minutes remaining, so that means half was done in less than 40 minutes. That is a scorching pace for a half. It's fast, not scorching.
Is scorching on your mind right now?
Have I said it a few times? Or are you just commenting on the heat right now?
I'm commenting on the heat. I'm not trying to bring any between us.
Biskupek goes across and gets Reeder. May well be Ryder. Now the under comes, shoots. Goes wide. Wolf Angel. Shot for goal. Can he? Can he? Not quite, just too far in front. Busanias.
Something I want to highlight there, though, is that Germany just basically took 5 uncontested swings between the handlers before getting to pick their shot. Sweden needs to be tighter on that, or Germany, they're going to have to rely on Germany misclicking on that throw.
Yeah, if you're going to just wait for errors against Germany, it's going to be an even tougher hole to dig out of if you're not generating your own source of turns. Here comes Lindblom. Mori forward, a potential collision there, evaded. Now Boyer. Ooh, and he tried to force one over the shoulder, and the German hand knocked it away.
The only critique there is he could almost have caught his own point block.
Yes. Germans pick up. Biskupek moved it far sideline now. Schütz. Goes back to the middle. Shot in, that one's caught. Nice and easy for the Germans on that asking. Lehmann with the goal.
Yeah, so nice offense again from Germany. Just a few swings, taking their time, shopping around, looking at it, saying not this time, taking another look and going, actually, yeah, why not? And taking it to the end zone, and a fairly uncontested, simple score.
Uncontested, simple score indeed. The Swedes down a 6-pack here, 9-3. And Germans get what we sometimes say 2-for-none when it's a score before and after half. But this ends up being a 7-for-none as they connect it to the 6 they had prior to halftime.
7-4 none. What a set of numbers.
But the 4 is not an actual number in this sense, Harry.
Oh, this is why you're the scholar.
I thought you were the scholar. I was the gentleman.
I'll be the gentleman this time.
What? That is one title I am not so willing to let go of, Harry.
Well, as gentlemen, we must fight it out after the game, but right now, Germany take the pull.
Germany send it, and it does land out of bounds. Sweden will be offered the benefit of a brick mark here, which of course means they can march it to the center of the field. There's an X mark there, 20 meters up from the end zone.
X indeed marks the spot.
Pirates, leave your shovels out of this one.
I don't know, we might need some Swedish Pirates here to find some gold.
Ooh, the windup was there, and put away opted for the simple swing dump. Right back to center. That one up and over, well received by Abrahamsson. Now the look upfield, but returned to Fredriksson. Abrahamsson looked inside, goes right back into the dump space. Fredriksson milked that one for as many steps as possible, and then a laser almost cuts Titus in half, but he handles it. Another inside shot, nice and quick. Abrahamsson. Fredriksson looking at the goal. No one behind, and a blade comes out because the dump came very late, maybe stall 7 by the time he had anything in the dump space.
This is one of the rare times I'm going to say this. Their last goal was a hammer, and I actually think a hammer would have been the better option there. If they can't get free on that open side, you need to take a break shot. Just floating a hammer over to the other side, I mean, at least better than the blade.
Yes. As sexy as they both are, the hammer maybe throws with a bit more efficiency and accuracy than the blade. And easier to handle for the receiver, of course, too.
Yeah, never grab a blade by the handle. Wait.
Never grab a blade by the blade. 23 comes under. That is Mr. Meyerhofer. And they cough it back up, and Sweden will have a short field and an opportunity to throw that hammer. Andreasen to Fredriksson. Ooh, and the foot stopped that throw from going. Fredriksson. Wound up. And a nice catch by Abrahamsson. There was an open receiver because 2 went to Abrahamsson, and the poachers exposed Titus with the goal.
Sweden found an answer for Germany's zone for the first time in quite a few points there. It was the same space they exploited the first time, which was a big roll flick over the top that got them past that initial short pressure where Germany are really trying to stop Sweden from operating. As soon as they got past that, Germany switched to match defense, and from there, Sweden had to swing it around a little bit, need a little bit of grab or two to get there, but were able to get up to the end zone. Had a shot, didn't work, forced a short Germany turn, and then were able to score on the second time of answering. But it was the fact they got through that initial German zone, which they haven't done for a few points, and credit to that line, they managed it there, that makes it, that should give them the hope. That's the real thing that means that the game could now be a bit more in Sweden's hands.
They won hope. That's the first victory they've needed.
The last hope?
With the first hope.
Star Wars.
The new hope.
Sponsored by Star Wars.
Oh, God. So I did that Star Wars
As
references.
a reminder, I am a guest. I do not represent ulti.TV.
Star Wars references will go right over my head if it's not the original trilogy.
I'll be flying Han Solo on this one then.
Okay. God. All right, we're going to get Harry out of here any second now. Until then, we'll follow the German offense. Boehm with the disc far sideline. Goes to center. Lina. Lina shakes and bakes and goes wide side. Gets Biskupik. Back to Lina. Now the under comes Potsold. Ooh, and that one too hot to handle, too cold to hold, and it goes to ground, and Sweden will get a chance.
Too mellow for that fellow as Germany not able to preserve the disc.
Sweden now on the attack. Lindblom.
There is a call on the field, I believe. It looks like it could be an injury. And it is all the credit to number 15, to Dahlner there. He's played a hard game. He's now going to have to rely on his teammates to come on and do the work.
Wubba lubba dub dub for Dahlmer there. Hope he's okay. And Sweden, oh, interception in the lane, shoots the gap, and in for goal. Germany shoots like a cat there, hops into the lane and taketh away.
Yeah, it was a great interception, but then even with that, his teammate was also switched on. We saw at least a couple of seconds of the Sweden player wondering maybe should they call something, what's just happened. Germany don't have that gap in their head currently. As soon as the disc turns, they're assuming I can go to the end zone. And if a call happens, I'm sure they would go back, they would respect it, but we can see here that the disc goes up, is intercepted, and the Germany player instantly to the end zone, whereas he doesn't have a force for a few seconds. And when the force does come, I think it overcommits a bit, whereas if they'd been there initially, they could have been there to react to that, but not overreact.
10-4 there, little fat buddy, as the Dukes of Hazzard radio call-outs go. It's actually the score too, 10-4, in favor of Germany. And Sweden will walk the disc to the brick mark, Andreasen. And the Swedes moving it back and forth. Fredriksson goes back to Andreasen. That's Alvin, and then Fredriksson gets it again.
We see again this German zone is trying to stifle all the short passes. There's actually a quite nice pass over the top that's free if Sweden can find it.
Yeah, the shot over the top was free, but Fredriksson continues to fake as though he's going to throw it through the legs of the German mark, which just does not seem like a reality, but I wouldn't mind seeing him try it.
You should only fake what you're actually going to throw, although there's a little gap here, again found on the wings, but Germany have the time to reset. It's not allowing Sweden to flow forwards. There's the attack over the top.
That's what they needed as they switched to man match defense. And Andreasen goes big. That one looks on the money. Fredriksson from the handler space has the vision to cut and gets the right vision from the thrower to have the delivery. How about the celebration?
I mean, I loved the energy. I think the form could use a little bit of work, but overall, I have to respect the commitment to the bit. He's going to love that when he watches it back. Maybe he'll take a few notes, tuck in the elbow a bit more, really get some power in that form. But, I mean, that celebration there, you got to respect the roots that one comes from.
Yeah, let's see if we get a second look at the celebration on any of these replays. That's, of course, not what we're replaying. We're replaying the throw and score that are coming up here.
And this throw mainly. Look at that shape.
Beautiful shot. And Sweden get back on the board. They're down by 5. They're doubled up at the moment, but they have scored the last score. The last goal.
They've been trading a little bit since half. So they've definitely come out with more energy. They're sort of trying to come out for a new game, but they're going to need to do more than that in the context of the game. They've taken one step. Can they take a second? They come out on D.
Yeah, a break is next level. They do have a break. They got the first break, no, the second break of the game. But it's Schutz who goes forward and gets Lina. Lina goes for the up line as it unveils itself. Boom. Now easy feed to finish. Biskupik and Germany give no chance of the break to Sweden as they cleanly hold that one.
Upliner and boom, Eb scoops it up.
You're punning in every German name there into the verbiage of the game, Mason. Well done. Keep up the good work.
I apologize. When I get tired, like my filter to stop myself from making those goes off. But here we can see, I don't know if Germany are taking a timeout, but they're certainly taking a little bit of time just to say, we need this one. We've been trading, and that's enough to win the game, but that's not enough for Germans' ego, for what they want as a team to be. They want to stop Sweden right now and say no hope.
There's a look at Leopold Bohm, 3 assists in the game. Getting it done. And we got Didzis Malderis in the chat saying that this one's game over. He's also left a clip that I may not get onto right now, but Didzis, fresh off his tour of the AUDL, playing for Chicago Union back in Latvia.
I mean, you do some tours, you'll get to see some action, and you're going to get better.
That's one way of doing it. That is one way of doing it. So a few others over there in the U.S. playing out of Europe right now too, so exciting to watch, including Italy's own Irena Scazzieri, who featured in yesterday's final, as Fury did fall to scandal. This one, though, is all about Sweden, and that, a wide open throw. Filipovsky Hargaby gets open, and the throw hits in stride as Sweden put their 6th on the board and bring it back to within 4.
I mean, yeah, like, it's what Sweden want to do. They're starting to get that separation again. They're starting to get free of the German offense or the German defense, and the German defense as well. Stop playing as much zone at that point. Maybe they wanted to try a point without it, say like, look, let's just go match defense, see if we can stop them for that. And Sweden saying, no, you're going to have to bring out that zone we don't like if you want to stop us, because match, we've got height and we've got speed.
There's the big boost. And Sweden back on the board, and they have been trading in the second half. Of course, it's nice in comparison to getting broken multiple times. It is a better situation. It is restoring some confidence, but they're going to need to get some breaks of their own to chip away and have a bit of belief that the comeback might have some legs.
Yeah, I'd love to see something a bit more interesting from Sweden here, like maybe a zone of their own, a forced middle, or just something to mix it up a bit to put the Germans off the back foot. As it is, the Germans relying on quick turns, so maybe not allowing Sweden to set up the structure they need to do.
Shoots. Oh, just over. Biskupik goes over that shoulder. I don't know where he found the room to fit that one in, but he did. And that one, another goal for the Germans.
And again, it was just up the line. Like, it was all down one line near the cameras so they get maximum views. Sweden need to stop the easy, well, I say easy throws. I think I'm doing Biskupek a disservice to call that an easy throw. Casual, yes. Easy, no. A lot of work goes into making a throw look that casual, almost offensively casual, some might say.
There are the scores on the screen there. Biskupek now with a goal and 2 assists. And checking in on our chat, Didzis is really just sending us great clips. Harry and I were talking about the celebration form, and Didzis has gone and clipped that for us. So not only us, but you at home can go back and check out the Selly form and let us know what you think.
And if you want a ulti.TV compilation of best celebrations, let us know if there's the demand for it, he says, not being an editor.
Yes. But if the demand comes, we will supply. Big shot comes, it's hanging up. There's going to be some company there, or the sideline will come too quick, is what ended up happening.
It's just one of those that, however long that Swedish player is, you're going to have to commit to the greatest, and it looked like he was trying his best to just go full toes and guarantee the grab. Whereas I think if he had left his feet, could have been a chance he got his hands to it.
Wolf Angel gets it forward. Up over the head there, that's Tykett. He tries to go back to center, and Sweden are now going to get another chance at a pretty short field.
Quite a slow set. Again, we've seen this before. Sweden want to set up their structure. They probably got a plan for this situation, and they want to execute it. They don't want to improvise. They just want to go by what they know they should go by. And previously, that's meant they've had to take some big break throws, and they take another one.
Nice, quick pick up and throw over the shoulder with the high release forehand. Now the backhand, nice bid to put it down into the goal, put it down into the hand for a goal. And Sweden hold again after a couple of turns and opportunities both directions.
Again, I think we can see this as a trend, though, is just Germany is able to score on the open side. Sweden are having to score on the break side. And they're doing so because they've got some very good throwers that have a range of break throw options, but it is certainly making it hard for them. With that said, that's a lovely high release. And again, round the German player. And discs to the floor, but in the hands, makes it safe. Again, we've been pretty much trading since half there. Sorry, not pretty much. We have been trading since half.
Yeah, it's been a nice second half. The pace of the game has probably picked up a tiny bit as well. Now up to 12-7. And, you know, Sweden coming alive, holding instead of giving up this string of breaks that they had in the first half. They still need this unit that they've got on the field now to get a bigger part of the job done. They've got a couple turns with their defensive unit on the field, but no, they've got one in the second half. They got to get a turn first thing first. And that pull isn't helping them.
No, rather than brick it, which is where you take it from the excellent spot, they're instead choosing to take it from where it went out of bounds. And there's just a bit of discussion as to where that is, but Germany only got a third of a field now to close.
Ooh, they bang on the mark there. And Schutz will have it dished into the middle now. Boom. Floats one out. Shot for goal, not quite. Schutz puts it over the shoulder. That one counts. Lina with the goal.
Again, I don't know if necessarily had to. It's one of the first times I've seen the Germans just be like, okay, let's take it on the break side this time. Maybe just to make it so Sweden don't overcommit to open side, forcing and marking, but just nice. And I'd have to say simpler break throws than Sweden were having to take as well. And just in case you are a parent watching at home, you want to get a bit more info on what we mean, you can see here that when the force sets up,
they're setting up to stop either the throw flowing on their right or left hand. And if you throw past that side, that's a break throw. And there's been a few of these in a row. You can see there for that first one, the force, you had to go round the force, and they just continue that chain, which means they've got the whole field to shoot into, basically, when you get to that corner.
Yeah, you go around the force, or you can go inside the force. The force is a combination of starting with the mark, one direction being taken away by the mark, and the other direction being covered by the coverage defenders. And you can break the mark with an around or an inside, and it's exactly that really sets up better angles of attack.
And it's exactly what the Swedish handlers have had to do this half, and done quite well this half. I will give them the credit for that as well, but which Germany haven't really had to until this moment, because the cutters have been doing their job up the field, getting free of that coverage defense.
And Fredriksson with a high stall count gets one away.
Germany starting with match defense from the off.
Svensson dishes off just next door and then gets it back on a gainer. Dish to Fredriksson. Fredriksson blades one, and that one lands for a goal. Fredriksson gives us another little fist pump celebration, going down to one knee. And it's no wonder Didzis Maldris likes this Swedish team, because they play like the old school Mooncatchers and are just chucking, you know, exciting throws, we'll say, from one side to the other.
Let's give them a little bit of a credit to the old school then. Let's call them moonshots. They're going high, they're sweeping round, they've got a crescent to them, and they're just landing right in the pot of gold. I mixed a metaphor there, don't call me out on it.
If somebody can call them out, please do, because some of these ones are going past me, but I'm not as quick to the pun as Mr. Mason, so.
Legend has it I'm a poet.
I'm not even going to get stuck into that one, Harry. No further questions.
But then how will you ever get answers?
Well, there are always other means of getting answers, including Google, the answer hub of the universe.
I know, I'm always a fan of the wisdom of the ancients myself. Find someone sage who looks like they know what they're talking about and just assume they do.
Ask them the questions and trust whatever they say based on their looks.
It hasn't turned society wrong so far.
Did you ever book reference encyclopedias pre-Google, or are you too young?
Young, like old enough, I remember being told this might be something I have to do. Young enough to never have actually had to do it.
I see. Lucky you. It was not that much fun. Here come Germany. Reida goes inside to shoots. Nice take with the left. Continuation. Boom. And zipped forward. Biskupik.
We can just see there off the disc there was a little bit of a tussle, and so the throw itself was clean. The disc will stay there, but they just need to reset.
Now near sideline, led for goal. That one's in. 14 on the board as Reida collects for Germany. They're one away from victory.
Yeah, for those, again, for the parents following at home, I just like to sometimes recap some of the rules. Basically, if any team gets to 15, that's end of game. So we have a clock counting down. There's still 35 minutes left to go, but if Germany get to 15, that clock won't matter at all.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's the clock we have continually ticking is for a points cap, a time cap, I'm sorry. So 34 minutes remain unless the points cap is reached, which for all intents and purposes, it seems very, very likely that that points cap will be reached. So if one of these teams gets to 15, then the clock essentially does not matter.
And it's also just may seem a little bit unfair because for 75% of this game, Sweden have been fully matching Germany. They've been playing as cleanly as Germany. The offense has been looking nice. But for that little 25%, the second half of the first half, or to make it a bit clearer, in between when Sweden were 3-2 up And when Germany were 8-3 up, Germany were in control. And currently that period is defining this entire game right now.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Germany can stand to just get clean holds and play maybe pedestrian defense. I mean, I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, but they could afford to. So if they just trade out that nice lead that they built up in that second half of the first half, it will be sufficient. So game on the line here in the balance. Can Sweden extend it? Here's their first chance. High stall count. Now the around goes to the inside of the field. Lindblom goes deep. I don't think that chase is going to get there. And it doesn't. Ooh, they want to play quick, do the Germans. And the player to pick up the disc was ready, but the upfield receiver was not. And they have got away with it, but a small communication error there on the start of this sequence for Germany.
Germany have just started quick so many times. I think they assumed the upfield receiver would be ready.
Oh, lucky to go up and down and catch that one on the earth. Klimisch. Now to Lopez. Backhanded forward towards that goal line. Shot in for goal. That'll do it. Germany have taken this one emphatically in the end. Oshman with the final goal and a 15-8 decisive victory for Germany over Sweden, Harry.
Yes, and they get a break right at the end, just to hammer home a point that they were the team in charge for this. And you've got to give the credit to Germany. They were actually down a break at one point, but they held their head. They threw out a couple of defensive looks that Sweden didn't have an answer to. They were ready with the quick turns and the quick offense, and they exploited anything Sweden gave them, whether that was up-line throws, whether that was just the handler swings until they could find something. Whereas I think there were a few gaps there that German defense will want to tighten up, but Sweden was not really able to find it and exploit it until it was too late and they were just trading.
So Germany will improve to 3-1. Sweden will fall further to 1-3, though it looks like they'll maintain their fourth position as we see a few results in here. We've got coach in from the Germans. I'm going to have him jump into Harry's headset here and grab his seat, and we'll have a quick word with him. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
How's it feel, first of all, getting the win? You guys advanced to 3-1 now?
Yeah, it was a great win. I think that we were really well prepared for this game. Scouted a lot, the Swedish team, and yeah, really happy with the performance of the team. Yeah.
Nice. You guys got one break in the second half just there to close the game. Otherwise, it was trading. But in the first half, you guys scored 7 in a row, a hold and 6 breaks. That kind of sealed up the game once you look at it at the end. Tell us what you guys were doing in that time to really take hold of the advantage of the game.
Yeah, normally we had a better second half than the first half, but in this game it was like a little bit turned around. We told them to put the physics up in the first half. We didn't manage it good enough in the second half, but yeah, still got it done.
Still getting it done. You got members of the Schutz family on almost every German team. You guys got one of them with Michael Schutz here, a young man, only 17 years old, I believe.
Yeah, he's one of the youngest.
Yeah, talk about having a member of a big Frisbee family as the youngster on this team. How does he fit in?
Yeah, he's a really talented player. We are really proud to have him on our team, and we can work excellent with him. He's well coachable, and yeah, I like him a lot.
Excellent stuff. Tomorrow you guys got Austria to finish off the pool, currently move up or stay in second place with these results in. One more game in the pool play. Talk about how you're going to prepare tonight and tomorrow for your final pool play game.
Yeah, first of all, we will watch some Austria games, and we'll make our game plans on defense and offense, and yeah, we are looking forward to the game against Austria.
Of course, from there, crossovers will happen, and then all the exciting stuff. So we won't ask you too many more questions about that. We will let you back to your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the victory,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
we'll be sure to see more of Open Team Germany in this tournament.
Yeah,
Thanks again.
Looking forward. Thank you.
And there we have it. A word from the German coach. We'll get Mr. Mason back in for some final thoughts. We may get a look at our match stats at this stage of the game.
Ooh, Mr. Mason again.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Mason, Mr. Harry. I'm actually the hairy one. But anyways, there's a look at the final match stats. Harry Mason. Anything stand out with difference from the first half stats that we looked at?
I think the thing is actually that it doesn't really stand out as much, with the exception of clean holds. I think both offenses were much cleaner in that second half. We talked in that first point about how defense was winning. I think offense won pretty much the rest of the game. And that's kind of a lesson as well. You know, there's a famous metaphor that's used a lot, which is sort of for every second you gain at the start of a bobsleigh, you gain like 5 seconds down the end of the bobsleigh. And sometimes that's true in Frisbee as well, of like for every point you gain near the start of the game, if they'd managed to get those first few turns, they'd have gained a lot more down the end as well.
Well, they used what they could gain at the start of the game, and it paid dividends late for them. The Germans looking as though they're going to take the 2 spot in this pool and Pool B and carry that into the crossovers. But a little bit left to be decided before we can claim that as a fact. We'll leave you with this Eurodisc Best Perspective view. Thank you all for joining us here on ulti.TV. For Harry Mason, I've been Steph Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us, and we will see more of you tomorrow.
There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want.
Thank you. Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, ultimate.
ulti.TV.